Welcome to this Last Mile Profits video, the last word on the last mile. Peak is around the corner. What do consumers and carriers need to do to make sure they get their parcels delivered on time? Modern Expo provides an integral ecosystem of screen-operated lockers, screenless autonomous solutions, refrigerated lockers, and even personal parcel lockers, powered by in-house developed software. Gary, it's that time of year. It's coming up, peak, if someone hasn't guessed. Every year it comes up, and every year it seems that not everyone is quite ready. Have you got any thoughts on 2023 peak?
Well, I think interestingly, this year, I think the carriers are ready. We touched on this on our previous peak recording that we did a few weeks ago, but there's a fair amount of capacity in the market. People poured a lot of concrete, built a lot of sheds to get ready to deal with the growth that rocketed up through COVID, and the tiny sort of a few percent volume reset that happened at the beginning of 2023. Back end of 2022 has actually given breathing space for quite a few of the carriers. It only needs 3 to 5% movement in the total volume to make or break peak for a carrier. The capacity is very, very finely tuned. So I think for this peak, if I was going to be a soothsayer or predictor, I think the carriers are going to do okay. Now, obviously, if it snows, all bets are off. In the UK, we're not ready for any weather at all. But if it does snow, it does tend to throw the market out.
Well, let's see. I think it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag as always. There are going to be some markets that are better prepared, and surprise, surprise, the markets that have grown less, exactly as per your comment, I think will be better off. Let's see. I think there's no point because we've done peak planning before. If anyone's interested, we can of course do something on peak planning. But I think maybe something that would be interesting this time would be to look at it from the consumer perspective. So, what can the consumers do to help carriers deliver their promises and their parcels?
Well, interestingly, having worked with Collect Plus in the PUDO world, peak is a really interesting time. It's the time when you gain the most new customers in out of home. So if you think about it, 11 months of the year you're living your normal life, and your home delivery is probably okay. But in that final month, you're rushing around everywhere. You're doing your last minute shopping. You're going to the works Christmas party. You're picking the kids up from the pantomime. You're doing all that stuff. And people will look for different solutions. They suddenly realize, I'm not going to be at home all day, every day. There's a locker on the corner of my street. There's a PUDO, in the village centre or downtown. I'll give it a try. And so you see more first-time users of out-of-home solutions during November and running up through the peak period into mid-December than you do at any other time of year. And so the key thing is making that proposition sticky.
And I think the carriers, and certainly Amazon, have done a lot in the past, vouchers for having out-of-home collection rather than courier delivery. But I think that there's a real opportunity if consumers would, exactly as you said, try it and understand that actually it can be pretty convenient. Because if the locker or PUDO is slipper distance, it's almost like a home delivery. But it means that, they can, with certainty, pick up their parcel. On days like Black Friday, the chances that every single parcel will be delivered with traditional home delivery is, I wouldn't say close to zero. It's actually less than zero.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing, I don't know what it's like in Poland, but Black Friday has really changed in the UK. It stopped being a day. So they've realised the massive strain that's placed on carriers, and most of the big retailers that are using it as a promotional tool are talking in terms of Black Friday week or even Black Friday month. So I got my first Black Friday deal at 8 a.m. on the 1st of November, encouraging me to buy. I can't even remember what, I was so disinterested in it. But they're now trying to stretch it out forwards, and I think that's quite clever. In terms of peak planning, it's probably the most helpful thing you can do. If you waited till the day after Thanksgiving, what is it this year, the 24th of November, and made that the start of peak, then you've got a very, very concentrated period of time to deliver everything. By dragging the date forward, I think it's really smart.
I think so as well. But still, even if they do that, there will be moments when capacity is challenged. And let's talk a little bit, because I think it'll be pretty interesting. What can the consumer do? So we've said, of course, the consumer can order out of home. That's the obvious thing, because a courier, and I've heard this now from more and more markets. It used to be just Poland where an out-of-home courier could deliver over 1,000 parcels a day. I've now had other markets, including Romania, where there's similar quantities delivered. But what else can consumers do, do you reckon?
I think, like you say, consider other options. Take the pressure off home delivery. If it is convenient for you to use an out-of-home option, then do that. And again, order early. Now, not everybody has got the cash flow to sort of do their whole Christmas shopping in the month of December. So starting a little bit earlier, bringing that pressure off. I think those are the kind of the two main things. And also, if you eventually you're going to order 5 things from one retailer, wait and place a single order. Have a single parcel delivered. Well, I remember when I was working at Royal Mail and Amazon introduced Prime. At the time, we were carrying a huge volume for Amazon, and our sales director basically said, right, the instructions are for shopping on Amazon for this Christmas, order a single item, and then an hour later order another one because they can't consolidate yet. So we were trying to drive up the parcel volume. That creates unnecessary pressure on carriers. So maybe try and consolidate your orders.
I think that those are really good tips. There's one other one that I would suggest is to be a little bit more patient. So don't call the carrier the minute that your parcel is half a day late, because that clogs up their lines. Even now they have more and more bots, but even so, I think be a little bit more patient. That's part of the planning ahead thing. But generally, I think the more consumers are aware about out of home options, about planning, about consolidation of deliveries, about not picking up the phone immediately that something's a bit late, I think they can really help not just create a much better experience for themselves with items delivered, but actually also make the world a little bit greener, and actually get delivery costs down. So it's a virtuous circle.
Yeah, and pay close attention to the last order dates. So if the last order date for your carrier is the 20th, then please don't be surprised if you order on the 23rd and you're disappointed. When I worked at Every, or Hermes as it was then, we introduced this concept of a guaranteed delivery for Christmas. So we promised that every parcel entered into the system before the last date would have at least one delivery attempt prior to Christmas. Which at the time it was award winning, and it won us a lot of business. But now you can make that promise if you've got out of home delivery options, like stores and lockers. You can make that promise, and it will be not just in a delivery attempt; it will be a successful delivery because somebody will be able to go and retrieve it from the other location. So I think combining all those things together, the carriers have got a great chance of giving an excellent experience.
So I think there you have it. It's actually a lot is in the hands of the consumer, which is us, to really make it easier. So this year, perhaps the consumers can do their bit. It's going to help them. It's going to help the carriers, and actually help the environment. So let's see how it pans out, and it'll be interesting maybe to have a review at the beginning of next year to see how it actually worked.
Yeah, I think a January session of how was Christmas for you, which is what we used to call our sessions at Royal Mail when we did consumer research and retail research, was just how did it work out? And also look in the sky, look at the weather is like, and that is going to be a big determinant of the successful delivery, certainly in my home market of the UK.
Thanks for watching this Last Mile Profits video. For more up-to-date last mile news and analysis, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on LinkedIn.